Hello everybody, this is Mike and I here bringing you another video today. Finally we're back on fighting games. I know I did a last video, I just kind of talked general games. But today I came across this article. As you can see here, Street Fighter Third Strike is mentioned. But I was thinking I was kind of just look up video games that aged well, right? Because I was watching some gameplay of an old game and I was like, I wonder what games typically are considered that aged well, right? And then I saw Street Fighter 3 here. And it kind of got me thinking, I think fighting games typically age well. Like, there's so many examples of fighting games that age well compared to not. Like, the fighting games that don't age well are not regarded as, good fighting games. You know what I'm saying? But the fighting games that are regarded as great games, and there's a lot of them out there, they age fucking well. At least in terms of, gameplay. Sometimes visually, it depends, but gameplay, I think fighting games always age well, and it always just kind of gets higher and higher, you know what I mean? So, let's read this here. So, this fighting games, video games aged well. Street Fighter Third Strike was number 2, by the way, right behind Star Wars Battlefront 2. I'm not sure, I mean, this game was great, but let's not get off topic. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, a well-constructed fighting game, has a special relationship with its fan base. People pour thousands of hours into the memorization of a single game-ending combo chains, compete in tournaments for every level of talent. That's not the kind of time and emotional investment that allows things to fade away. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike took all that and more. It's also worth mentioning this is another game that came before graphics got to near photorealism, so since they didn't have to worry a hell of a lot about making the game look like Capcom's personal photo library, they sunk most of the money into actual gameplay. It's kind of just what I was saying, right? The reason people can pull off those mind-bending combos and streaks of perfection is because the game's so well built. It's the choice between a Honda Civic that will run into the wheels or only a distant grandparent's faded memory, and a Corvette that can't make it out of the driveway without the engine falling off. Sure, the Corvette's great looking, but that thing's been existing ruins driving. So, funny analogy, but yes. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike is like a phenomenal fighting game. It's a phenomenal video game, probably in general, like in terms of visual quality, in terms of sound design, in terms of everything like that. Very fucking good game. I actually have some other examples of games that I personally think age well. Some are a bit newer-ish, like they're not like Street Fighter 3 old, but they're still kind of probably a couple gens ago. And then I got some old ones. So here I got Kaka versus SNK 2. This is another game that's just like Third Strike, man. It aged so good. In terms of sound design, music, visuals are they're pretty good. I don't know if they're as good as Third Strikes, but I would say the visual looks like the sprites look good. Gameplay, the gameplay, it's so kind of, I guess I'm gonna use this term, emergent. They have roll canceling and all that shit, right? And then the game's, people still play it. It's you can play it on Fightk now. It's a very great game. I played it a little bit. Obviously I'm not very great at it. I'm okay. But when I played it, I was like, you know what, this game's really fucking good, man. This game's really good. When you play games like this, it gives you a different perspective of fighting games, honestly. When you play older games that age really well. So yeah, Capcom vs SNK 2, great game. I just got some tournament footage here. I don't know these players or anything, but someone's playing Morgan. I don't think Morgan's good in this game. Sagat is though. But yeah, I would say this game probably aged really well. Next game I got here, King of Fighters 13. Yes, I know, King of Fighters fans are so divided between this game, and there's the whole combo trial controversy or whatever, but fuck all that. I'm just gonna talk about the game. So, plays like your typical KOF, so you got the short hops, you got all this, right? Of course, the balance is kinda from what I know. I'm not a KOF player, so don't quote me. But man, I loved watching this game. Back when this game was out, this is probably one of my favorite Evos in general. So yeah, now this game, bro, like this game looks great. Like visually, like the sprites, like people to this day still talk about how good this game looks. Cause it's one of the last like sprite games, I guess. Like, I mean, I guess there's still some games that have like sprites, like mostly indie games and whatever, right? But this is like one of the last like big games that just had sprites, as far as I know. If I'm wrong, let me know. But yeah, and then you know it looked fucking great. And then you know when the last two KOFs didn't look as good, right? And that was a big fucking deal. Like KOF 14, like it kind of got better over time. Like they had like a patch where it looked better, but man, off the gate, bro, that game looked terrible. It looked terrible, and it wasn't a good first impression. And it really, like the gameplay was good, sure, but graphically it looked terrible. So in terms of visual design, and I would say, you know, it still plays like KOF, so I'll give it gameplay too. I would say KOF 13 is one of those fighting games that tend to age, it aged well. So here, I got a fighting game here. I'm sure if you see the title, you might know. I have a fighting game here that didn't age well in terms of visuals, but in terms of gameplay only, it aged really well. So here, I got Smash Melee. This game, obviously, right, in terms of visuals, like, it's very fucking dated. Like, it looks like, you can tell it looks like a fucking GameCube game, right? Like, sure, it doesn't look too bad, and there is mods nowadays where, like, you can make it look better and whatever, right? But, man, like, the gameplay, like, it's crazy how over the years the gameplay for this game just got better and better. Like, this is, like, almost the epitome of a game aging well in terms of gameplay. Like, it's actually kind of crazy. Like, I'm not a Smash player, but I can suck it up and acknowledge that Smash Melee is like one of the fight games that age the best in terms of just like gameplay. Like, it's crazy how developed the game got, and like it's still a gameplay to this day, and it has like it has a fan base, like, you know, like it's such a great game in terms of that. Yeah, I would say this is one of those games that aged fucking well overall. Like, definitely. So I got a couple more games, and then I might discuss why games tend to age well, and then that'll be it. So I got Guilty Gear Xrd. This is Revelator in particular, but I'm talking just the whole, because, you know, the only difference is the balance, really. And I think they might have changed some gameplay, but, yeah, dude, before I even play the video, watch, I'll just play it and talk. So, um, this game kickstarted ArcSys, like, new, like, visual design, in my opinion. Well, not even in my opinion, I think that's just fact, right? Like, this game kickstarted ArcSys, like, being in their fucking bag in terms of visual design. And, man, the gameplay, too. Like, the gameplay, like, it's Guilty Gear's one of the most, at least, this version, was the most free-form, like, anime game you could fucking play. Maybe this and Blaze Blue, and maybe some other games I don't know about. But Guilty Gear was, like, the anime game, like, you know? So, like, when I first got into anime games, people put me on the Guilty Gear. Even before this game came out, people were like, you should play Guilty Gear, like, plus R and stuff. And that was before rollback. That was when it had, like, delay based that code and shit. But yeah, no, like, this game visually was, like, crazy. Like, I guarantee, like, 10 years from now, this game will still look good. In my opinion. Like, this game still looks good now. This game came out technically on the PS3. It wasn't a PS4, but this game was technically a PS3 game, man. It came out 2014. This was a 2016 video. This game came out 2014. And, like, now we have games like, you know, after this game, that was like Dragon Ball, right? And then that's when people really were like, yo, ArcSys is like, we gotta get these guys for like other games and shit, at least in terms of like visual design and helping us make the game. So once Dragon Ball happened, and you know, then you got Grand Blue, then you got DNF Duel now too. Strive, obviously, Strive looks fucking phenomenal now. But man, Guilty Gear Xrd still looks fucking good, and this was like kind of the kickstart of like ArcSys just kind of being in their bag and making visually appealing fucking games, and obviously making great games in terms of gameplay too. Like the gameplay for X still holds up. There's people that love it, play it, etc. Right. So I got one more here. I got another older one. So I got Street Fighter Alpha 2. Now, I would say visually, I would say it looks pretty good. Like especially like the stages and stuff. Again, it's the same kind of tune for these games. It's always like the sound design's great, stages look great, you know, sprites and or character models in general, like 2.5D, whatever, looks great, and then the gameplay still holds up. Like people still play Alpha 2. It's funny, they play this more than Alpha 3. And Alpha 3 came after, right? So, you know, just in terms of the presentation, I think that's like the main words, the presentation of it. It's still good. Everything about it, it's a great Street Fighter game. A lot of the Street Fighter games tend to hold up well. And if I had to name if I had to put one more game really fast, just because I feel like I have to, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. This game came out 2011, so this was 10 years ago now. I think, just about, right? So, if I can just let's go to a random. This game still looks good. I don't care what anyone. This game, like, it's crazy. This game came out in 2011. You can argue this game looks better than some other games that come out today, minus, like, Arxis games. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, man, whatever the fuck Capcom was doing when they made this shit was crazy, man. Of course, obviously, gameplay is great. You know, if you're a Marvel, you know, versus game fan, gameplay is awesome. Visually, it looks great. I would put an honorable mention to Marvel 2. I think Marvel 2 still, visually, like, obviously, gameplay holds up. Visually, it's kind of, like, it's there. I would say there's other games that look better. Like, I would say Alpha 2 and the other ones look better overall. But I would say Marvel 2, even Marvel 1 look pretty good. Still. So, that leaves me back to this, right? Street Fighter 3 Third Strike and games that age well. Why do fighting games tend to age well? What is it, right? Like, there's tons of examples. I just named, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus Alpha, so I named 6 examples. There's more. Like, honestly, you could put, like, Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive, like, looked good, back in the day. Tekken, to an extent, right, to an extent, I would say Tekken 3, it looks blocky, but Tekken, like, 5, looks, like, I would say Tekken 5 looks decent. Obviously Tekken 6 was a PS3 game, it still looks good. But overall, like, I think it's just the way, like, developers construct these games. Excuse me, I'm sniffing a little bit. But the way developers construct the games, it always, like, it always ends up aging very well. Of course, obviously, there's other arguments you can make, like, there's things that don't age well in old fighting games, like balance and, maybe some mechanics, but in terms of just raw gameplay, like, it's timeless. Like, it's kind of crazy how timeless fighting games are, and it probably will continue to be that way till God knows when, right? Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, it's you know, they just end up being timeless. Like, even people still play Street Fighter 2. You know, Street Fighter 2, that's like not the first fighting game, but that's like the game that made fighting games, and people still play it. You know, like, like fighting games tend to just have like a timeless feel in terms of the gameplay, especially older ones, man. But yeah, that's it. So what do you guys think? Do you guys have any games you want to suggest? Do you guys think fighting games age well? Do you guys think it doesn't age well? Let me know in the comments below. I feel like this was an interesting video, and yeah, let's talk about it. Peace out, guys. To the next one.